So what do you want this fall to do for you? Is it the income that you get from it? Is it the development? Is it earning a branch or a district role? Is it earning an assistant manager role? Is it building up your resume so you can get an internship next summer? What is what is this fall? Why is this fall so important to you? Okay, you wouldn't be here, you wouldn't be working with Cutco through college unless it was something you wanted from the opportunity. Okay, so I'll give you 90 seconds to journal on why that is. It's important that as you transition into a new campaign and a new semester, that you clearly define your goals. What you were working for over the summer is now different than what you're working for over the fall, at least on a month to month basis, right? Long term, it might still be, I want to earn a branch spot. And month to month, your goals have changed with what you want from that and what that means to you. Okay. So we'll take 90 seconds to journal on that for a little bit. Would any of you like to share why this fall is important to you? You don't have to. Open forum.
I'll say mine.
Yeah.
I only have two, but they're like two big ones. I did short term and long term goal. So my
Okay.
short term for the next like couple of months, I want to develop like a budgeting system so I can like learn how to save money while I'm in school. So and then also like put money into like an IRF, something like that.
Yeah,
That
like a Roth, an
Yeah,
IRA.
a Roth account. So
Yeah.
like my money can start making its own money. And
Right.
then my long-term goal is to branch this coming summer.
In 2026.
Yeah.
Okay. Love that. That's actually good. One of the things that we're talking about in TLA, number one, thank you for sharing. One of the things that we're talking about in TLA is budgeting. Mr. Jackson showed the agenda. That's one of the first things that we'll talk about in our first session is budgeting. Because for a lot of you, this is more money than you've made ever at once. Can anybody relate to that? That you've made more money in a shorter time frame than with any other job that you've had. And so it's normal sometimes for some people to see that extra money and then want to spend it, right? Because that's the feeling that you have and not really budget what you need so you can create that long-term success. So that's something we'll talk about as well in TLA. That's good. And I like your focus already for next summer, wanting to develop yourself so that you can run an office next summer. So I want to put into perspective really what selling 10K, 10 grand this fall campaign would do for you. Okay. Selling 10K in the fall around school, it can feel like it's a big task. It's not when you really break it down because numbers don't lie and numbers are super simple to track. Okay. So in the fall campaign, it's 17 weeks, 17 weeks in the fall. So take 10 grand from me. Let's do this. Let's take the 17 weeks. Let's subtract a week that you're not selling. Let's just say Christmas and Thanksgiving, right? So at least 15 weeks of you actually placing orders. Then we have two push periods in the fall. We have SLC and then we have Olean. Those will combine to be about 3 to 4 weeks worth of time, probably closer to 4 to 5 weeks worth of time. So let's subtract 5 weeks to be conservative. So that leaves you 10 weeks to sell 10 grand. In those pushes, you typically want to sell about half of your campaign goal during the push. So let's say that you go from selling a grand a week to selling 2 grand or 3 grand during SLC, right? You sell 2 or 3 grand during Olean. So it's 5 grand during Olean and SLC. That leaves you with 10 weeks to sell 5 grand is the number we come up with. 10 weeks to sell 5 grand. So if you divide 5 grand by 10, how much is that you need to sell a week outside of a push?
500.
That's it. That's it. If you sell 500 bucks a week and then you sell 5 grand between SLC and Olean, which a lot of you will do more, but you do that, you'll be over 10K for the campaign. Cassie, what's your average order?
535.
So Cassie is really focused on placing at least one order a week. Amber, what's your average order? Do you know? It's okay if not. Okay. So for you, I would focus on placing 2 orders a week. It's always helpful to be conservative and use the company average of 300. So if you focus on 2 to 3 orders a week, you'll knock out your 500 bucks and then you'll sell more during the push. That's really how simple it is to sell 10K around school. Some of you sold 2 grand in a day before, selling 500 in a week is very manageable. Okay. So I want to look at and really show you what it would be like to do, let's say, 60 demos over the fall. Okay. If you did one demo a day every day, it'll take you 2 months to hit it. Okay. If you were to do 2 demos a day for every day, you'd hit it in a month. And then 4 a day, you hit it in 2 weeks. So a lot of people, they're going to choose a level of how many demos they want to complete weekly, whether that's 5, 7, or 10. Once you pick that number, it's really important that you stick to and commit to that number. Okay. Here's why. It can be with some degree of fluctuation, right? Some weeks are busier than others, midterms, finals, I get it. So you want to make sure that you are holding yourself to a standard, because if you don't have a standard, then you're not going to have any of the success you want to. The thing to remember about the job is that the job is flexible because you make it flexible. The job isn't I'll do the job when I want to or when I feel like it. It's I'm choosing when I work. Okay. You're choosing when you're putting in the effort, not I'll put in effort when I can. That's really how the job takes advantage of you and the flexibility takes advantage of you. What I would recommend is setting up a goal with your manager month to month. Okay. In our office, what we'll do is we'll do payoff events. Basically, you sell this much for the month and your payoff gets covered, whether that's Frankie's or dinner or whatever it may be. Okay. So set up a goal and a checklist with your manager on what to do and how to do that. Okay. If you're working a part-time job anywhere else, how many hours a week are you working? How many of you have had other jobs before? Okay. Kathy, where'd you work?
I worked at Publix.
Okay. And was this over the summer or was this in high school?
It was in over the summer. Yeah.
Okay. So how many hours a week were you typically scheduled to work at Publix?
So it was like it really depends. Like,
It varies.
'cause- yeah, because like I also did like wrestling during the summer.
Okay.
So it was kind of like I was doing part-time.
Hmm.
Like my manager kind of worked with me. It was weird because like I know the
Yeah,
manager and like he knew my schedule, so it really just depended on that. So I feel like I can't really like tell you.
that's okay. Would you full time, by the way, is 40 hours a week.
Mhm.
So would you all agree that with other jobs, part time is on the low end 15 hours, on the high end 20, 25, somewhere in that range?
Mhm.
Working the job part time with Cutco and Vector is this. If you're working 15 hours a week, here's the breakdown for that. So let's say you do 5 demos a week. We're assuming your demos are 2 hours. That's 10 hours of work right there. Then there's 2 meetings a week, Sunday, Wednesday. That's 12 hours. And then to book 5 demos, you should be able to do that in less than 3 hours. Would that be the safest assessment? There's your 15-hour work week. That's it. It's that simple. You squeeze in 5 demos, you show up to your Sunday, Wednesday meetings, and then you book your 5 demos. That's how you work 15 hours around school. I would highly suggest any chance you get to make phone calls at the office, you do, because you're going to learn. You also get to meet new reps on the team. They remind you of key things that you might have forgotten about. You also help them get better. I would, when you're making your schedule, plan extra time for studying, for homework. That way, you don't really give yourself the chance to make excuses about demo slots and about team meetings. Have any of you felt that? I know when I was a new rep that I didn't really plan my time. I just kind of did things that I remembered to do, things that I felt were important to me. And it could be easy to say, oh, I don't have time for demos because I have XYZ. And it's not that you don't have the time, it's just you're not intentionally putting your time where it needs to go and where you want it to go. So, how many of you do have a planner already? Okay. If you don't have one, I highly recommend one. The one that I have, I get it from Staples. I get the same version every single year. It's at a glance. Okay. At a glance, because it's really great. It has all your days broken up in 15-minute increments, 8 all the way to 8:45 p.m., 9 p.m. And then it also has a notes tab on this left-hand side. So you can write down key things each week. And then you have your monthly breakdown for key dates with the big notes page on the side as well. Okay. So I don't get paid for them. This isn't sponsored. And I do like it. Okay. It's the best planner that I found, and I've tried multiple over the last 7 to 10 years. So get a planner, number one. Number two, use it. I can show you the progression of my planner from 2018, 2019, 2020, and when I started taking it more seriously. When you get your planner, make sure that you use it so you can get the return from that. When you work the job like a job, okay, you have the chance to make a lot more money and take advantage of the experience. Where when you're friends, they might not have the income to go out to go do whatever you all might want to do. Once you get to September, October, you will have the ability to work when you want to, how you want to, and you'll be able to make the income that you want to also. Okay. So when you make your schedule, do your absolute best to stick to it when you're going week to week. Okay. I'm going to give you some tips and also share a document on how to plan out your week. The hour that you spend with yourself, 30 minutes to an hour, however much time you need, that you spend with yourself when you make your schedule is the most important hour of your week. It's okay if you feel like spending an hour to make your schedule is not really worth your time, I should say, is not really bringing you the energy that you want. The thing is, when you are able to sit down with yourself and actually write on paper what's important to you, or some people use a Google Calendar. I prefer paper because I can write it out, I can make adjustments to it quickly. If you feel like that, there's nothing more important for yourself, for your energy, than the hour of time you spend with yourself, writing down everything you want to get done and need to get done. So the first thing I do when I make my schedule, I try to go as far out as I can when I make my schedule. So I start with anything that's set in stone. Okay. And it takes some time to do this, and you'll be thankful for yourself afterwards. So, first is things that are set in stone. Okay. Things that are set in stone. I'll forward this into each of your WhatsApp groups. I'm in all of them. Set in stone things first. So, for you all in school, that's all of your class times, right? That goes in there first. And your class times are going to change. So, I would put things in there for the foreseeable future. Okay. 2, 3, 4 weeks. If you can go the whole semester, I would do that. Because are your class schedules really going to change that much? No. So save yourself the energy long term and put it in there for the entire semester. Okay. Team meetings. For the most part, those are going to be at the same time every single week. Okay. So I'd put those in there. Those of you who were accepted into TLA, it'd be a good idea to do what? It's okay.
Budget.
Yeah, put that into your calendar. Put that in there so that way you know a week, 2 weeks out that it's already in there and what you have going on. So anything that's set in stone first. Then you want to put in the things that are important. Okay. They're important. So you want to put in things like homework time. That goes in there next when you're doing your homework, when you're studying. Let's say, though, that there's a tutoring session for math and it's only Thursdays at 3 p.m. Do you think you should put that in there first with everything else like class schedule? Yeah, that's important. And that's more importantly, a time that doesn't change. You can do your homework pretty much whenever you want to, whether that's in the morning, lunch, whatever. So then put that in there next. Put in when you're doing your demos next. Let's say that you need some extra phone time. Put that in there next. And then lastly, you put in anything that really can be done when you want to, meaning grocery shopping, meaning laundry. And it's okay to have it stack. When you put your clothes in the washing machine, are you just going to watch the washing machine spin for an hour? It's okay to put things in the washing machine and then do homework, or put things in the washing machine and then make phone calls, right? It's okay to do those things. And it's also important, I don't want you to get me wrong, put in the things that are important to you. Me, I have bowling. Okay. I have a bowling league that I'm in on Monday nights, 6:30. I go there every single week. So it's important that you do things that are fun to you, whether that's pickleball with your friends, or that's going to the gym with your friends, or that's going to the gym by yourself. You want to make sure that you put in things that are important to you because you are a person. And everybody does need their recharge time to bring their energy back to school and to other things that they're doing. Does that make sense? Okay. So if you don't have a planner yet, I do encourage you to get one before school starts and you take on more responsibility. I can drop a link to an at a glance. We're in a weird time of year where it's August, and so companies are getting ready to send out their planners for the next year, but you might find a couple that you can use. I want to drop a document that we use in our office. It's very similar to a planner. It has these hourly and it has the breakdowns that you would need for every 30, 20, 30 or 15-minute increments. I have to find it. Okay, I'll send that out. In the meantime, last 4 to 5 minutes, what is the first thing, or what's the first thing you're going to put into action and implement as you are going into the fall, whether that's making a schedule, whether that's deciding how much work you actually want to do. You all can unmute and share that.
It will definitely be making my schedule. Having a schedule and having my dates and everything is very important. So that's probably the biggest thing that I'm taking away that I'm going to be doing.
Love it. Love it.
I think one of my biggest goals is honestly just protecting my personal time. Like you kind of talked about how you have like your bowling that you would do every single week. Like I kind of notice when I like schedule things and someone's like, "Hey, but can you do a demo like now?" And I'd plan to like hang out with friends, like protecting that personal time because that is important too to kind of like reset and for me to keep doing well the next week.
The last thing that we want is for you to not do the things that you want to do for Cutco, because then you're going to resent the job. You know, you're going to resent the job and feel like, oh, I can't do anything that I want to. I can't spend time with my friends. It's not that you can't, you just haven't. You haven't prioritized that, So that's great, Cassie. Anything else come up? Okay. I'm going to drop this in the chat, and I'm also going to drop this in your WhatsApp groups. What we do is we print it out. I'll give you a couple examples. So this is one that you can print out and use. And then I have another one that's more spreadsheet style. And I use this with my team also. When you make your schedule, if you're using the spreadsheet, I recommend sharing that with your manager. Okay. Being honest with you, your manager doesn't really, it's not that they don't care what you're doing. They don't really think about it like you think they may. Remember, all of your managers have been in college before. Okay. So whatever you're putting in there, going out with your friends or doing whatever, that's normal. Things that they've seen, if not done themselves. Okay. So don't be afraid to share your schedule with your manager, because the more that you communicate with them, the better they can help and support you. Does that make sense? Cool.